Shalom to everyone. Welcome once again to Parshat Shavua with our Berg. Parshat Behar, Bechukotai. Behar, Bechukotai. Two parshas together. Amazing parshas. Parshat Behar, Eretz Yisrael. Vayaki tavoy la'aretz. Coming to Eretz Yisrael. The Shemitah year. 7th year is holy, just like Shabbat is holy. And we remember the words of Rav Nachman. Kol makom shani olech. Ani olech la'eretz Yisrael. Wherever I'm, as we'll see right now, are very much related to this whole thing. Okay, so previously we've spoken about Eretz Yisrael in a different video, but let's talk about Ben Adam Chaviro, a relation to other people. In our Parshat Behar, I once was driving along, and a very religious man cut me off, endangered my life, almost damaged my car, wow, and continued to drive without looking around. And I met him later and I said, politely, hi, tell me, do you eat glad kosher? Yes, of course. Do you daven 3 times a day in a minyan? Of course, what a question. I said, well, so why don't you keep the mitzvah between Adam and Chaviro? I said to him quietly, why don't you keep the mitzvah of, guarding your life and my life? I didn't think of that. And I reminded him of his driving. The way we drive reflects our relations to ourselves, to other Jews, and other people, no matter where. And this we have these ideas in our Parsha. Parsha Berg Yud Daled. It says the following: Ki timkaru mimchar namitecha. You shall sell when you sell something to your fellow man. Ve'ukana miyad amitecha, or you buy something from him. Lo tonu ish et achiv. Do not do ona'ah. What are we talking about? Cheating. Do not cheat. And it says, don't cheat your brother. Wow. Everyone that we deal with in our business dealings is like our brother. And we have to be very careful the way we deal with business. And so that's what we learn over here. The laws of business. And we have to be very, very careful in our business activities. And Rabbi Yisrael Salant used to say, just like you check your eggs for blood spot before you dare put your egg into and cook your egg, so one should check your business and your finances and your business dealings with others. So there won't be any type of, ugly spot over there, the way we deal with others. And Sefer Chinuch comes along and says, really, just like we have to, these laws are all there to make sure that there's a good society that relies on a good relationship to each other and caring and trust and truth and being honest. Honesty is the backbone of everything. We may do business. We may try and make money, and that's what we're allowed to do. And we must do. We must make a parnasah, but everything obviously it's this issue is very vast. So we cannot lie about any object when we're selling them. We have to tell everything that we know about this object. We cannot say as if it's new. And today in the modern world with selling phones or computers or even a car, okay? Someone wants to sell you a phone and it looks beautiful. And he sells you the phone for a lot cheaper, but still amount of money. 2 days later you discover, oops, there's a problem with this, there's a problem with that. And wow, he knew that. Same thing with computers or iPads, whatever it is. Wow, there's later on you discover there's a problem. Same thing with my car. It drives beautifully. Suddenly, and when I go 80 kilometers, a speed of 80 kilometers on the road, suddenly. So that we have to be very careful about when buying things, and obviously when we're selling things. We're not allowed to charge too much money for anything. There's a whole set of laws about how much money to charge, and we cannot overcharge anything. And on, we cannot false advertise, and we cannot, all these many different laws that we have about being honest in business. And sometimes it's difficult, but we have to overcome that. And that's what it is. That's the law of ona'at mamon. We cannot cheat. Other mitzvot between man and man that we have in our parsha. Wow, where does it say that we cannot hurt our fellow Jews' feelings, our fellow man's feelings? Where does it written in the Torah? What about The story of Hillel that he said to the non-Jew, standing the whole Torah on one foot is don't do to others what you don't want to done to yourself. But there's another source, and we have it here in Parshiot Behar. We read further, Perek Kafei Pasuk Yud Zayin. What does it say? Velo tonu ish et amito. Don't do ona'at ish amito. Ve'yiretem elokecha, and shall have all for Hashem, ki ani Hashem elokechem. What is this talking about? If we look at Rashi, we'll straight away see we're talking about ona'at dvarim. We cannot cause pain to any other Jew. We cannot say bad things to anyone else. We have to take care and think about their feelings. And that's in our parsha. So let's explore this halacha a little bit and try and make sure we can keep it better. So what does Rashi say? Rashi says, we're talking about onat dvarim. We cannot tease or bring anyone else down. We cannot give him bad advice, says Rashi. We cannot hurt him in any way. And it's very interesting to note that here in this pasuk we cannot do onat dvarim, we cannot hurt anyone else's feelings. And then it says, ve'yiretem elokecha, ki ani Hashem elokechem. Why does it say, I am your God? And many of the commentators speak about Hashem knows our thoughts. Right? Hashem knows what's in your mind. And so we have to be very careful about hurting other people's feelings. Hashem knows what's going on in our heads. And this is a very big problem. So much so that the Gemara speaks about it, and we open up the Shulchan Aruch itself. In Choshen HaMishpet, the laws of finances, let's open up the Shulchan Aruch and see what the laws say. Okay, so let's have a look what the Shulchan Aruch says. This is the Shulchan Aruch, the volume Choshen HaMishpat, Financial Issues. And we all know that Yosef Karo wrote this, the Shulchan Aruch, about 450 years ago in Tzfat. And he gave us the halacha, summed it up very nicely in the Shulchan Aruch, and at the same time lived the Ramah in Krakow. Many of you people have been to his shul and his grave. And the Ramah wrote in the halacha for Ashkenazim. And so around that we have other commentators. Here we have the Mirat Inaim, others, and we have the Be'er Hetev, who kind of summed up many of the commentaries. So this is the Shulchan Aruch. So let's have a look what the Shulchan Aruch says about hurting somebody's feelings. This is Siman Reish Kafchet. And I'll read. Kashem she'onat b'mekach v'menkach, kach ona'a b'dvarim. Just like you cannot cheat with your words, cheat in business, you cannot cheat with your words. And so, the halacha continues and quotes the Gemara. Ugdola ona'at dvarim me'ona'at mammon. It's worse to hurt a person's feelings than damaging them financially in any way. And then the Shulchan Aruch continues with the words of the Gemara. Shezeh nitan lecheshbon, v'zeh lo nitan lecheshbon. We can return the money of the phone, the bad phone that we sold. We can return the car, whatever, but return the money for the car. But if one hurts somebody's feelings, we can never take it back. And it continues, Zeba gufo v'zeba mamono. This is with his body, and this is what with his money. Body meaning here his whole money. And if we think back to when we were small in 6th and 7th, 8th grade, we all remember that, us boys were in punch fights, whatever. So we don't remember the punch fights, whatever. But we certainly do remember the mean things that little boy said to me, or that teacher said to me, or especially with young ladies, that age. We remember all the little fights in class and everything, and how little girls hurt each other with their words. Words are much more hurting than even a punch. But the word stays there forever. And so, if we look, we continue. It says, "V'chtzoek al ona'at dvarim ne'ena miyad." If we were hurt by somebody's words, we cry out to Hashem, we'll be answered straight away. And here we have to mention that in life there are difficult people. For example, you work in an office and there's a boss, and he may be narcissistic. He may say mean things to you. And we know that there's a custom that if a boss says mean things to you, people afterwards, you can't answer. So afterwards they pray to Hashem. Hashem, in the merit of me keeping my mouth shut, may you answer my prayers for health, whatever it is. Mention a few. Okay, we cannot insult anyone. We cannot call them by a derogatory name. Fatty, thinny, smelly, right? We cannot even through a hint. We cannot cause pain through our words to children. We cannot make people scared, like, right? We cannot do this trick that we all do to children. If someone left their watch down and you take the watch, you hide it, and the person's looking for the watch for the next hour and say, here's your watch. Okay, that's hurting their feelings. And we'll end off the words of the Chazon Ish. The Chazon Ish wrote in one of his letters, he said that that's a very, very serious thing. Because sometimes with a facial expression, you can break an Isur from the Torah, Isur Doraita, right? If I make a funny, roll my eyes at somebody, or I look away, or, we pull the face, somebody walks in, we pull the face. We all know all these situations, people putting faces, people rolling their eyes at each other. That is Asur from the Torah, and it's called Onat Barim. So to sum up, we learned today in these parashas, there's so much to talk about, Eretz Yisrael, and then two very important things that we focused on. We have to be honest. That's the most important thing. And we also have to be very careful with our words. And we have a Isur from the Torah, not to hurt anyone's feelings. So with those laws that really tell us that the mitzvah between man and man are really very most important, and one can only love Hashem if one loves your fellow Jew. I wish everyone Shabbat Shalom.